8, 9, 10. Well, this is Jim Garrison. It's New Orleans, Louisiana. It's November the 12th, 1967, and I am here talking to Darryl Wayne Garner. Darryl Garner, do you want to tell me when and where you were born?
I was born on January the 1st, 1940, close to Cooper, Texas.
Suppose I just hand you the mic and you tell me when you first met Jack Ruby, and go on and tell me when you first met Clay Shaw and when you first met Lee Oswald.
Well, when I first met Jack Ruby, it had to be quite a few years back. I mean, this here way back in the 50s. He has been at my house when I was living with my mother and after this. And I was more or less, say, hustling girls around there. I was kind of young at that time, and I hung around Jack Ruby. This Oswald was here, which I'd seen Oswald, and talked with Oswald, and also talked with Jack Ruby. Quite a few bit there.
Well, have you ever seen Oswald and Ruby together?
Yes, I have. They was together. They was real, what you call, pretty good friends. It was never did hear them really talking business with one another, but you know, as far as talking to one another, they did.
Where did you first meet Lee Oswald?
I believe it was at Jack Ruby's where I first met Lee Oswald, and when I was here in New Orleans, I met him. He was, again, I seen him here when he was giving out pamphlets.
When you say you met Oswald at Jack Ruby's, do you mean at one of Jack Ruby's clubs or at Ruby's apartment house?
Jack Ruby's clubs, down at the Carousel.
And can you remember roughly when that is? I know you're not very good at dates, but roughly when did you meet Lee Oswald at Jack Ruby's?
Well, this here had to be in, I'd say that at this time, I believe it was around 62 or 63, somewhere along in there.
Where did you meet him? In the main part of the club, or what part of the club did you meet Oswald in?
Well, when I really first started talking to him or saying anything to him at all, it was there, you know, and around the bar. Then I'd talk to him before that in the office, and then I'd talk to him at my house. He has been by my house, and I'd talk to him.
You say Lee Oswald has been by your house?
Yes, Lee Oswald has been by my house.
Has your mother ever seen Lee Oswald?
No, she doesn't know Lee Oswald, but she has seen Jack Ruby there.
Let me ask you this. When did you first meet Clay Shaw, and where?
I met him at the Carousel Club with Jack Ruby, where I met him at.
Under what circumstances?
Well, this here was something that, well, before this here, Oswald had talked to me, you know, said something other about shooting Walker, General Walker. But then this here was about shooting Kennedy. Jack Ruby had said something to me before this about shooting Kennedy, which I just passed it off as he's some kind of nut or something, you know, and wouldn't pay no attention to him. I hung around him all the time. Then Clay Shaw was there, and Clay Shaw was talking to me about a movie, how would I like to be, something other about this movie or something other. And I don't remember now if he said take a pot shot at Kennedy or shoot Kennedy or something other than that, you know, that nature.
Do you mean that he was talking about a movie that he had seen or you had seen that concerned shooting? Is that what you meant?
Yes, it was a certain movie, something other like that there. I don't remember, a Bounty Hunter or something other like that.
Well, now, starting from that point, where did he go from there?
Well, he told me that, you know, me to think it over, you know, if I was interested in it,
Think what over?
Shooting Kennedy. You know, when he got around to shooting, saying something about assassinating Kennedy or something like that.
Did he indicate that there would be anything in it for you? If so, how did he say it?
Yes, he's left it up in a way that he'd see somebody else about me getting paid on it.
How many times would you say you've seen Clay Shaw in Dallas, and if so, where?
I seen him at the Carousel Club and at a Jack Ruby's apartment. He would come out. I went out there one night, seen him there.
Which apartment was that, Darryl? Apartment on what street?
I believe it's the one on Ewan Street that I seen him at.
On Ewing Street? Have you ever seen Clay Shaw in New Orleans?
Yes, I came down here. Jack Ruby told me that Shaw was one buying a bus ticket or something other to this effect, and then bought a bus ticket, and I came down here and stayed a day or 2 days or something like that.
This is after you'd already met Shaw.
Yes, and well, I talked to Shaw there at Carousel, and he was one supposed to be paying the bus ticket down here, but Jack Ruby is one took me to the bus station and paid for the ticket.
Let me ask you, did Warren Reynolds or Johnny Reynolds or anybody at the Reynolds automobile place know any of these guys?
I never did know for sure that any of them knowed him, besides Warren Reynolds and Shaw, you know, and I heard that saying there at the
Did
car
Warren
lot.
Reynolds know Shaw?
He said I ought to get tied up with him and want to make some big money out, but he had said that prior to all this here.
Do you know if Warren Reynolds ever knew Oswald?
I don't know where he knew him or not.
Did you ever see Lee Oswald in New Orleans?
Yes, like I said, when I was down here at the Wanda's, he was came in there and he knew me from down there, and he was passing out these pamphlets.
He knew you from where?
From Dallas at the Carousel. He was passing out some pamphlets or some kind of freedom deal or something.
How do you know he was passing out pamphlets?
That's what he told me he was doing, and he wanted me to go with him, but I didn't go fool around with him.
Did you all talk about Dallas at all?
No, we didn't.
This is Wanda's on Iberville Street?
I think it's Iberville's, or this bar up here right off of Bourbon Street there. I mean, not Canal Street. I don't know which place around there.
Let's see if this location sounds familiar. It's just off of Royal, isn't it? A block from Canal. It's a block from Canal. Just
one block off of Canal.
Yeah. Did you ever see Clay Shaw in New Orleans?
Yes, when I came down here, I seen him in Wanda's there.
Is that when Jack Ruby put you on the bus?
When Jack Ruby put me on the bus down here.
Did he tell you where to meet Shaw?
Yes, that's where I was told to go.
At Wanda's?
Wanda's. I called a cab at the Greyhound bus station and rode up there.
What time did Jack Ruby tell you that you were to meet Shaw at Wanda's?
I don't remember what time he told me to meet him there.
Was it just sort of a vague deal that you were supposed to be there in the evening and you would bump into Shaw?
No, I don't know exactly how it was set up. I don't remember now. I know I was told when the bus would get here, and you know that catch a cab and go to Wanda's. And that was all, and said Shaw would be there.
How many times have you met Shaw in New Orleans?
Just this one time.
Now, you had previously met Shaw in Dallas before this occasion.
That's right.
Darryl, give me a few more details about when you saw some of these people in the Carousel Club. For example, how many times would you say that you met Clay Shaw in Jack Ruby's Carousel Club?
I met him this one time. I met him this one time down there at Lee Oswald come out the house out there and told me Jack wanted me, and I went down there and I talked to him down there then.
Lee Oswald came down to your house and told you that Jack wanted you at the Carousel Club.
That's right.
Were you living in Oak Cliff at the time?
Yes, it was.
Now, when you got to the Carousel Club, who was there?
Clay Shaw was there.
Was Jack there?
With Jack Ruby, yes.
And where were they? What part of the club?
They was in the office.
And do you remember who was sitting where?
Shaw was behind the desk.
Behind the desk?
Yes.
And where was Jack sitting?
I don't remember exactly where he was.
Can you remember anything about the relationship between them? Who seemed to be in charge?
Shaw was.
How did Jack Ruby address Shaw?
I believe he was saying Mr. Shaw. That's what I think. The best I can remember, he said Mr. Shaw.
Yeah.
I know when he told me who he was, he said Mr. Shaw.
Let's see. Was this the occasion in which, you mentioned now you saw Shaw on a separate occasion, but that was at Jack Ruby's apartment house.
That's right.
I see. Which came first?
At the Carousel Club when I seen him. Then I met him, went over to the house over there, Jack Ruby's house.
And when was it that Shaw talked to you about the fact that the president was going to be killed?
Talked to me there before Jack Ruby at this time.
In front of Jack Ruby?
Yes.
At the Carousel Club?
Yes.
Did Jack Ruby say anything at that time?
No, he didn't.
Mm-hmm. Did Jack Ruby ever talk to you about the president being killed?
Yes, he did.
And was that before or after Shaw's discussion with you?
Before.
And what did Jack Ruby say about President Kennedy being killed?
I don't remember exactly. Just said something other, kill Kennedy or something other.
But I mean, it must have been more than that. Did he say that he just heard he was, or did he say that say it as if he knew that it was going to happen?
No, I kept on sounding on him about for money or something other, and he said he'd fix me up something like that, killing Kennedy. I'd get some money.
And what was your reaction when Jack Ruby said that?
Oh, I just thought he was a nut.
Later on, when Shaw brought up the same subject at the Carousel Club, what was your reaction this time?
Well, I just really don't know what to say. I just didn't want no part of it, that's all.
Did you tell him that?
No, I just told him, I just kind of went along, said that I'd let him know. He said, to let him know if I was interested. I just kind of went along with it.
What words did he use? It's kind of an unusual thing for somebody to talk about killing the president. Did he say it might happen, or how did he phrase it?
I really don't know just how he did say it.
Well, I'm not trying to pin you down to exact words, but I mean, just did he indicate to you that there was some kind of a plan and he knew something about it?
Yes, it was. I can't even describe it. It said that if I'd wanted to know if I'd wanted to get in to assassinate Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
Said if I would want to, and to let him know if I was interested or something other.
I see. Did he indicate that there would be money or something for you?
Yes. And, he didn't just say that they're going to come out and, and give me some money or whatever it was, but I know that, it was leading up to money-wise. Then here after this was when I came down to New Orleans on the bus, when Jack Ruby took me down.
I see. And how long were you at Wanda's before Shaw came in? About an hour?
No, I think he was there when I got there.
I see. Did he seem to recognize you? Did he,
Yes,
he was waiting for you?
He knowed me when I come in, and everybody down there knowed him, and at Wanda's.
Now, was this the same time you saw Oswald at Wanda's, or was this a different time?
It was a different time. I seen Oswald there in 62 or 63 when I seen him.
But did you see Oswald at Wanda's before you met Shaw there, or after you met
After I'd met him there.
After you met Shaw?
I believe it.
Have you ever seen Oswald with Shaw?
No.
No, you have not seen Oswald with Shaw?
No.
You have seen Oswald with Jack Ruby?
Yes.
Would you tell me when you've seen Oswald with Jack Ruby?
Jack Ruby and Oswald was, I would say, what you call pretty good friends. They was together a whole lot. I know for a year or so around there that they was together.
Who introduced you to Oswald? When did you first meet Lee Oswald?
Hanging around the carousel. I don't remember what they called him there. I got to talking to him because he was always talking to Jack Ruby.
You met him through Jack Ruby?
Well, no, I just got to talking to him because he always knowed Jack Ruby, and I was always talking to Jack Ruby, and I got to talking to Oswald, too.
I see. Have you ever heard Jack Ruby or Clay Shaw discuss President Kennedy before the assassination?
I've heard words come from him in a way that they didn't like him. I don't know just how you'd put it, but I've heard him saying it in a way that they just didn't like.
But could you give me an example just of what caused you to think that? How would they discuss it in general ways? You don't have to give me the exact words.
I just heard them talking about him, or just about politics, like I told you a while ago. I don't know, I don't know how.
On the occasion when Lee Oswald came over to your house, did you go back to the Carousel Club with him, or did you go back separately?
I went back separately.
How did Lee Oswald get out there, do you know?
I think he come out in a car. I'm pretty sure he did.
Do you know whether or not somebody was with him in the car?
No, I don't.
In other words, were you in the house when you talked to him?
Yes, he come out there and told me that at the house.
Have you ever talked at all with Lee Oswald about anything?
On about one time, he had said, about shooting General Walker. He said he couldn't hit the side of a barn.
Oswald said that he could not hit the side of a barn.
Yeah.
And what did he say about Walker?
Asked me if I'd shoot Walker for some money or something or other.
Was it your impression that was his idea or somebody else's?
I just figured it was out of his mind, and that's all. I just didn't. He acted like a nut anyway, it was real weird acting, so I just didn't pay no attention to it.
Did he ever talk about Russia to you?
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm. What did he call Ruby? Do you know what nicknames? What did he call him, Mr. Ruby or Jack? Or what?
He called him Jack all the time.
Do you remember Ruby's name for him?
No, I don't.
Did you ever know Officer J.D. Tippit?
Yes, I did.
To your knowledge, did Tippit know Jack Ruby or Clay Shaw?
I don't know about that.
Did he know Warren Reynolds?
Yes, he did.
How well did you know J.D. Tippit?
Real well. I knowed him well enough to sell him guns. I've rode around in a squad car with him and I've drank beer with him before in a car.
How many guns did Tippit buy from you?
I wouldn't know for sure, but I bought every gun like if I'd buy a gun off somebody else, he'd buy it. If it come out of a burglary or something like that, he'd buy the gun.
Do you have any idea what he did with the guns?
No, I don't.
Do you know if he was in, did you ever hear anything about gun running at all?
Yes, I heard mention something, but I never did know anything or any dealings of it.
Well, if you came up with half a dozen pistols, would Tippit buy all half a dozen from you?
Yes, he would.
I see. Do you know if he knew Jack Ruby?
Yes, I've seen him with Jack Ruby.
You've seen Tippit with Ruby?
Yes, I have.
How about, do you know a man named Reuben Goldstein, also known as Honest Joe?
Yes, I do.
Did he know Jack Ruby?
Yes, he does.
Very well?
Real well.
Did he know Lee Oswald?
He should know him because he was, when he come down there to Carousel, that Oswald was there.
Oswald was there?
Now, I don't know for sure that he knowed Oswald, but he should know him because, he hung around there, come around a lot.
Have you ever seen Lee Harvey Oswald in Dallas outside the Carousel Club?
He was at Jack Ruby's house one night when I took this stripper over there, Nancy Mooney.
You took Nancy Mooney over to Jack Ruby's house?
Yes.
Is that, you mean the apartment house?
Yes, on Ewing Street.
On South Ewing?
I believe it. Now, I think this here before I took her. I don't remember. I was drinking pretty heavy that night. I don't know for sure what.
Did Lee Oswald come over with you, or?
No. I just took her over there. She said she had a party to entertain some people there.
And who was there when you got there?
I seen Jack Rubin and Lee was there. Is the only one I seen.
And what was Lee doing when you got there? I mean, standing up, sitting down? Can you recall the scene?
I don't remember what he was really doing.
Were they having drinks?
Oh, yeah, they were drinking. There was a bunch of people there. There was quite a few people there,
But
I know.
indication was it was some kind of party beginning or
Yes,
something? Did you stay at all, or did you just leave Nancy off?
I left Nancy there and I left. There's two more girls there that we had dealings with Jack Ruby. Fact of business, we'll turn it off for just a minute.
Let's go to the situation now in which Jack Ruby's given you the money for the bus, and you've met Clay Shaw when you got in New Orleans, waiting for you at Wanda's. How long did you stay in New Orleans on that time?
About 2 days, counting the day that I got here.
And where did you stay, at a hotel?
No, it's some apartment. I don't even know where. It was over here in this part of town, over in the quarters there.
I see. Did you see Shaw most of those 2 days?
Not during the daytime, not all. I seen him some, during the day, and went quite a few places with him. And at nighttime, I went up on down Bourbon, and I went and got some clothes and stuff that I got the money to get.
Where'd you get the clothes?
Down on Canal Street somewhere.
And who gave you the money?
Clay Shaw there.
Let me ask you this. When you were in New Orleans, since now that you'd seen him before, did the subject of the assassination of the president come up again?
He said something other about it. I don't remember what it was now, but it was brought up in some way. I couldn't even tell you a word.
Did you bring it up, or did he?
He brought it up.
I see. You don't remember what he said?
No, I don't remember what was said about it.
Do you remember what your reply was at all?
No, I don't.
Where did you go after you left New Orleans?
I went to Las Vegas.
And how long were you in Las Vegas?
I don't know.
Was this, I know that you told me earlier you were at Las Vegas when the assassination occurred.
That's right.
Is this the trip to Vegas when the assassination occurred?
No.
This is a separate one?
This separate trip, yes.
All right. Did Nancy Mooney work for Jack Ruby at the time you met Clay Shaw there? Was she around the Carousel Club then?
She come and went down there all the time. More, I was hustling her down there then at this time, more so.
In other words, she wasn't working full-time for Ruby. You were sending her out hustling.
That's right.
But she came to the club sometimes.
Yes.
Did she seem to know what was going on? Do you have the impression she knew the president was going to be killed?
Yes, she knew all about it. I know one time we was sitting in the car, me and her and the other girl sitting there, and she was talking about it, but I was too drunk.
Was this before the president was killed?
Yes, and then another time after the president was killed, we was in the car and we was talking about it again, and she was talking about it, and then shortly after this, that's when she got when they killed her down in the jail.
When they killed her in the jail?
Yeah.
You mean the Dallas police?
Yes.
Did Nancy seem very nervous or scared after the assassination?
She was quite scared, yes. She was, her and this other girl both, I talked to this other girl, in this February, January, somewhere back in there. And she said that she was scared now. This here is the other girl I was telling you
Is
about.
she still living?
Yes, this girl is, but not Nancy.
If I send a man to Dallas with you, do you think you can find this other girl?
Yes, I could.
In other words, do you know what she looks like?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any idea where she would be working?
No, I seen her out on, way out there off the expressway, and where this other boy hanging out too, this.
The one you've described to me?
Yes, Don.
Now, do you think this other girl knew beforehand that the president was going to be killed, like Nancy did?
Yes, she knew a whole lot about it because they was talking about guns and stuff. I can remember this much. I was all drunk and peeled up, and I don't remember exactly what was.
Before the assassination?
Yes.
Did the Dallas police ever ask you about Jack Ruby and Clay Shaw?
No.
They didn't ask you anything about Jack Ruby?
It was talking about Warren Reynolds and Johnny Reynolds. You know what I'm talking about there.
They didn't ask you about Jack Ruby at all?
Not at this time.
Darryl, I want to show you two pictures that you picked out. Here's a picture of Thomas Marion Cox. Where do you have the impression that you've seen Thomas Cox before?
I believe I've seen him at Jack Ruby's apartment on Ewing Street.
On Ewing Street?
Yes.
And here's a picture of a man named Lawrence Howard. Have you ever seen Lawrence Howard before?
Yes, I got in trouble with him at Carousel Club, yeah. It was over some girls down there with
At Jack Ruby's club?
Jack Ruby's club at the Carousel Club.
And what kind of argument happened?
Well, I'd had run in some broads in there, and it just come up over them at the. It kind of got a little. He had some girls in there, and I was bringing some more in there, and they kind of.
What was Lawrence Howard doing in there? What was he?
I don't know. He started help backing the bouncer up or something in there.
In other words, he was kind of acting like the bouncer?
No, there's another guy who was bouncer. He just backed him up.
He was helping him?
Yeah, he was helping him. When the bouncer got into it with me, he started to help backing the bouncer.
Well, this fellow whose picture you have, who's Lawrence Howard, did he seem to know his way around the Carousel Club?
Yes, he did.
Did they seem to know him?
Yes.
This concludes the interview with Darryl Garner, New Orleans, Louisiana, November 12, 1967.
Linda, will you go get Jim, please? Got him on the line.
Hello?
Hello?
Sir, can you hear him?
Very dimly. Mr. Altman, this is Bill Boxley in New Orleans. Mr. Garrison has been trying to reach you, but we keep getting a busy signal on your line. I see. Well, your other call came in while he was in this office calling you on what we like to think is a sterile line.
Yeah, no. It's very, very much alive.
Yes, I'm quite sure it is. I have just sent for him. We're extremely interested in the two of you talking. If you'll bear with me here about 90 seconds or less, he'll be in.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
He's on his way from his office, and we were calling you from another office down the hall.
Mr. Buckley, please, I would appreciate very much. I'm a professional journalist, and what I'm saying is for the record, so if you can tape it...
Will it be all right with you if we tape it?
Yes, I want you to.
Very good. We'll turn the recorder on, and here's Mr. Garrison, Mr. Altman.
All right.
Mr. Altman,
Yeah.
we've been trying to get you.
Mr. Garrison, it's you, huh?
Yes, this is me.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Have you received the preliminary report on what I have to tell you?
Yes, I have, and I'm very interested in it.
Well, I will, as chronological as possible by memory, tell you what I did.
All right.
I represent in the United States NPS Dutch Television, which is the largest Dutch television operation subsidized by the Netherlands government.
Mm-hmm.
But it should not give you the impression that this is what I'm doing is sponsored by the Netherlands government. It is completely privately operated, and this is something between my boss of television in Holland and me.
I understand.
Came upon information in Europe that Mr. George de Moranfield, well known to you, was more closely linked to the Oswald affair than he would have us believe from the Warren report.
Very much involved.
They instructed me in March of this year to go to Dallas and get Mr. de Moranfield first of all on film. For that purpose, I telephoned Mr. de Moranfield in his home in Dallas on Friday the 31st of March. I'm telling you this all by memory, but the data are correct.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Friday morning, 11 o'clock on the 31st of March. I telephoned Mr. de Moranfield and asked him, quote, I'm Netherlands Television. I would like to film you in connection with the Warren report. Is it okay with you? And he said, I would be delighted to, but I have to go to Mexico City to an oil conference. I will be back April 12, 1967 this year, and contact me then again. Now this surprised me because he has refused all interviews so far, but anyway he said he would do it after the 12th of April.
Mm-hmm.
I reported back that weekend to my television in Holland, Hilversum, and said that I had reached him, and my television advised me to go and see the office of Mr. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, in New York City, and tell Mr. Kennedy, or ask Mr. Kennedy, whether he thought I would need some protection because I had approached Mr. de Moranfield.
Mm-hmm.
So on Monday, April the 3rd, I walked into Mr. Kennedy's office in New York City at 44th Street and talked to his press assistant called Tim Hogan. And I explained that I had done something in the Kennedy affair, and that I had telephoned Darryl, and that I thought I might need some protection. And Mr. Hogan told Mr. Kennedy at 1 o'clock that afternoon that I had been in there and wanted protection. Mr. Kennedy, according to Mr. Tim Hogan, telephoned Edgar B. Hoover in Washington that afternoon, April the 3rd, at 1 o'clock. And at 4 o'clock that same afternoon, April the 3rd, 2 FBI agents marched into my apartment in Kew Gardens, Long Island, and stayed for 2 hours asking me questions on what I knew about the Oswald affair and the Kennedy affair. I told them that I had to do work in Dallas and that I had to film in Dallas, and that I also wanted to check some other data that we had on Oswald and Mr. de Moranfield, and that I wondered whether it was a dangerous operation to do all by myself. Now, the next day, on April the 4th, I was driving in a new car I had just bought 10 days before, a Sunbeam Tiger with a V8. This is an expensive car. I drove on West Side Drive, coming from the north, going to the south, and at the height of 15th Street, an unidentified automobile sort of cut me off at high speed, and I was going myself a little too fast. I was going at least 50 miles, and I hit head-on the iron embankment in the middle of West Side Drive, and my car was so badly brought to the Chrysler garage at 44th Street and 1st Avenue, and the Chrysler garage wondered how I ever got out alive, and the insurance company of Liberty Mutual gave me the money for a new car.
What hit you? What hit you?
Well, I was cut off in such a way that it was too late to go down the exit of 50th Street, and I couldn't stay in the inner lane anymore because he didn't leave me any space. So I hit the middle embankment. You have an iron gate in the middle of West Side Drive, and I hit it head on. And
Well, see, just
all the windows were gone, the car was smashed.
let me take 1 second to see if your voice is recording. May I have 1 second?
Yeah.
Just a second.
Yes, of course, Mr. Jones.
Hello?
How is it?
You're coming in fine.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
So, after I was more or less convinced that this couldn't be, I have been driven an automobile, I drove an automobile for 23 years, and this is the first accident, so I decided, I'm not saying that it had anything to do with the fact that I telephoned Mr. de Moranfield or that I went to see Mr. Kennedy's office. I'm only stating the fact that on the 3rd I saw Mr. Kennedy, the FBI came to my house, and on the 4th I had this damned accident.
Yes.
So I left the country.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And yes, I got my new car on a ship, and I went to Europe. And I was approached by a gentleman from Fort Lauderdale in Florida by the name of Glenn Bryan Smith. He said he was working for Robin Moore, the writer, on the Dallas affair, and...
What's the name of that writer?
Robin Moore, the writer of the Green Beret.
Oh, yes, uh-huh.
He has an assistant called Glenn Bryan Smith in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
He came to Europe, and he suggested that we pool our resources and work together.
Sounds like a CIA man to me.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what I thought he was, and we never heard from him since.
Mm-hmm.
He completely disappeared out of the sky.
Uh-huh.
Now, that are sidelines. Now I go on with the story. So, on the 7th of October of this year, I published, after you said in the Playboy magazine that Mr. George de Moranfield was an interesting figure,
Mm-hmm.
I convinced the Post, which is one of our leading weekly magazines, that we now had a good case to hook in my automobile accident and my own investigation in March in the Moranfield and publish it widely. So we made a front page story with a picture of John F. Kennedy and Mr. de Moranfield And we went over the whole thing, including the Warren report, and he mentioned that this Mr.
They publish it in the paper?
Yes, I will send it to you tomorrow.
Well, that's great. I think it's a very interesting story.
Yes. And if you tell me how exactly to address it, on your name and then just District Attorney, New Orleans, is that enough?
Yes, that'll get to me. There's no question about that. The only thing is, we don't trust the mail. Let me give you another mailing address.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, if you use two envelopes, a smaller one with my name outside, Jim Garrison, District Attorney, personal, and then the larger envelope, you can address. Have you got a pencil?
Yes, I'm right.
In the exterior envelope, send that to Mayor, M-A-Y-O-R, Mayor Victor, V-I-C-T-O-R, Schiro, S-C-H-I-R-O. S-C-H-I-R-O, Schiro.
Yeah.
City Hall, New Orleans.
Okay.
And then the inside one they'll deliver to me.
Understood, perfectly understood. That's
Yes.
exactly how I will send that story to you.
And on the envelope where you seal it, on the inside envelope, if you put some Scotch tape on it.
I'll do all that.
Fine.
Okay. So, what happened next? I published this on the 7th of October and felt a little favor to come back here. So I came back to the United States and I called once more Mr. de Moranville. And I said I would like to interview him, and he agreed immediately, and I flew down last Saturday, the 14th of October, to Dallas, and on the 15th of October I have made 40 minutes of film in the apartment in Dallas at Gillespie of Mr. and Mrs. de Moranville, and with the CBS crew of the station in Dallas, Channel 4, and I was assisted by the news department editor called Hank DeWitt, D-E-W-I-T, who is a Dutchman by birth but lived already 10 years in Dallas, and he assisted me with another American to make the film, and it will be shown on Netherlands television Wednesday night between 7:30 and 8 o'clock.
It'll be shown where?
At the Dutch television.
Dutch television. Oh, all right.
Between 8:30 and 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Now, this interview with Mr. de Moranville, I think that you should have an as complete text as possible of everything he said, and he invited me to lunch after the crew was gone, and I stayed all afternoon, and I have talked at great length with them. Now, one thing that strikes me immediately, and that I think I should tell you first of all, is the question the following. After the television interview, he opened the drawer of his writing desk, and he showed me, as well as Mr. Hank DeWitt and the other American of the Channel 4 of Dallas television in Dallas, a picture which was given by Oswald to Mr. de Moranville, in which you see Lee Harvey Oswald with the gun in the garden, the famous picture that also is supposed to have been in life.
Yes.
And on the back is written, to my friend George, Lee Harvey Oswald, and I think I have the date too, it's in May 1963. And then in pencil is written on the same photograph in Russian by Marina Oswald, something like, this is our fastest terrorist, ha ha ha. Okay.
This is what?
Huh?
What did Marina write?
Well, Mrs. de Moranville translated it from Russian to us, to Mr. DeWitt and my other assistant and me, and said that it said in Russian something like, our fastest terrorist, ha ha ha. And I don't understand why and then Mrs. de Moranville said, now this is a very important picture, and actually we should have it locked up in a safe. We shouldn't have it lay around in our desk like that. Now, I don't know how important that picture is, but I would say there's something to it, because they sort of rubbed it under our noses, and I didn't get at that point, I didn't understand why they had to bring that up at all. Mrs. de Moranville said that they found it in an old box that they found after they returned from Haiti after being away out of the country since the murder for 2 or 3 years. Started unpacking their things, and then they found gramophone records they had given to Marina, to learn English from Russian, and there was the picture somewhere hidden in that phonograph album. Then I, of course, asked on television Mr. de Moranfield whether he had read the Playboy story and what you had said about it. And he answered, quote, that he was aware that he was mentioned by you. He had Playboy in his house, but he never really read it. And then I said, well, what do you think? And he said, well, I am with Mr. Garrison. And then Mrs. de Moranfield broke in, and Mr. DeWitt of the Dallas Channel 4 and the other American are my witnesses. Mrs. de Moranfield broke in and said, she addressed him as Mishka. Now, please, by God, this is your chance to speak up at last. Why don't you say it? We are with Garrison. We want to help Garrison any way we can.
Very interesting.
Want this thing cleared up. And then she put on an act which was near fantastic, because she said, I love Kennedy. We all love Kennedy. I have good pimples when I speak of it. And she showed her arms to us, and then she started breaking out in tears and crying. And my CBS photographer wanted to take a picture, and she said, no pictures now. But anyway, a terrific scene she put up. And then I said very quietly, then, Mr. de Moranfield, then don't you think the time has come for you and Mr. Garrison to meet? And he said, well, I would be delighted to if that can be arranged. But then without too much publicity, and let's do it discreetly. I said, all right, I promise you, I will try to contact Mr. Garrison and try to see that you and him can get together about this whole thing. I thought, forgive me for making this suggestion, Mr. Garrison, but I was only trying to test him.
Yes. I'm glad you did.
The gist of his interview to us, to our television, is that Oswald was far from crazy, that he was a very clean American boy with a lot of brains, and that anybody who portrays him as a silly idiot is an idiot himself, that he read Dostoevsky and Tolstoy, that he treated Lee Harvey Oswald as a soldier of his Polish regiment, and that he was very sincere with Mr. de Moranfield and Mr. de Moranfield with Lee Harvey Oswald, and that they had a great affection for each other. And Mrs. de Moranfield broke in and said, we can't even bring flowers to his grave because my husband's associates will blame him for it. And he went on saying that Oswald loved Kennedy, and that it is out of the question for him that Oswald killed President Kennedy.
Do they seem to be sincere?
Yes. Look, sir, he is a Russian, a white Russian, and my own second grandfather was a white Russian, and he was also a count. So I have moved to the same circle in my youth. I must say, I believed him, but since I came there prepared not to believe a word he said, I simply would have to stick to facts to make up my mind whether he could be trustworthy or not. I find it very dangerous to either believe him or to disbelieve him. I have just made black and white films, and the only thing you can do is analyze every word he has said. And I'm going to put on Dutch television on Wednesday night that he says that Oswald can never have stopped Kennedy because he loves President Kennedy, that Mr. Oswald has been used as a patsy, that this was all figured out in advance, and that the Warren report, he calls it dirty gossip, and his wife breaks in and says it's dirty linen, and they really ripped the Warren report apart.
That's a surprise.
As such.
I say that's a surprise.
On film. Excuse me.
I'm very surprised.
Well, so was I. The amazing thing is that they apparently are not anymore in Dallas right now. I have been trying to contact them for a number of days now, and they have gone up in smoke again.
Oh, they have?
Yeah. That, of course, is a preliminary, that is only a preliminary conclusion. I haven't been able to telephone them in their home now for a number of days. And they didn't indicate in one way or other that they were planning to leave the country in the near future. They did talk about going sometime to their plantation in Haiti, and they invited me to come there. But, and they spoke very highly of President Duvalier of Haiti. But for the rest, I wasn't aware that they were leaving so soon because they were prepared to meet with you.
Well, I think we should meet as soon as possible. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
After the program is shown on Dutch television, will there be a news release to the news media in the U.S., do you think, of the contents of the program?
That I don't know.
Well, they probably won't publish it anyway.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, they won't publish anything that criticizes the Warren Report.
Exactly. You see, my story was in the leading Dutch magazine, Haagse on the front page, and the Associated Press has picked it up, but somehow it hasn't been put on the
It's killed on the AP. The CIA has some kind of tie-in with all the news media, like representatives.
Yeah.
And it's killed. It's not unlike the Gestapo, except it's more efficient. This is really fascinating, though. After your program is on Dutch TV, would it be possible for us to receive a transcript of it?
For that, Mr. Garrison, let me tell you, I'm going back to Holland on Saturday night. I will be on the 29th of October in Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I will do is I will write in my letter to you my Dutch telephone number and my Dutch address, and of course my address here in New York you have, but in other words, I will be reachable at all times. If you would put in a call to my home in Holland, I would be able to, within 24 hours, to call you back.
Okay.
So that you can be in touch. I will first establish a permanent contact so that we can't lose each other, because probably it might be important. And second, I will try on next Monday, to talk my television people into doing something about this film and trying to get it to you.
Thank you.
Now that will be hard to get that from Holland to you in a safe manner.
I think if you send it to the mayor, as I suggested, at least a typewritten transcript, with the statements.
Voila, yes, I know what you mean. Okay, we will do
that won't have it. It'll be just another envelope going to the mayor.
Right, okay.
Now, one other thing, do you have any suggestions on how we can get in touch with Des Moines, Schultz, since you may leave?
The telephone number in Dallas is area code 214
Uh-huh.
LA 11309.
Is it OA?
The L like in Leonard and A like America.
Oh, LA, uh-huh.
And his address is 3615 Gillespie.
How do you spell the street?
G like in George, I-double-L-E-S, P like in Peter, I-E.
Gillespie.
That's it. That's where he should be, but I haven't been able
Well, if we write him, they will probably forward it to him.
Yeah, or a request to get in touch with him, you could send to him, yes.
We'll write him.
Yeah.
Well, I sure thank you. It's very kind of you to call, and it's extremely interesting to us.
Well, Mr. Garrison, if I can be of any further help, because I have still a pile of notes of countless things that he has told me and has expressed to me, both about Oswald, what he thought about him and their conversations, and what kind of person he was, as well as he himself and in relation to the authorities. I have a whole pile of notes here. I have written now one article for the Spiegel, the Dutch magazine, the Spiegel, and I'm planning to write some more. If I can be of any help to give you more of he would for instance make almost communist statements, as far as I'm concerned, on Svetlana Stalin. We have discussed numerous subjects, and he explained, for instance, that the fact that Svetlana Stalin could come to the United States shows that Russia was almost a free country now these days, He expressed views that I find rather unusual they are rather European maybe, but they are unusual for Dallas factors.
I think it's very peculiar, though. But anyway, when you get a chance and come back to the States, maybe we can get together and meet. I look forward to meeting you.
In principle, I plan to come and see you early in January.
I certainly will be available to meet with you.
Okay.
I look forward to it, and I hope to hear from you soon.
All right. I will send you the letter as promised, and you can get in touch with me at all times. I would appreciate, Mr. Garrison, that when you get my letter with the article and everything which I send to you tomorrow, that it would be nice that you just put in a call to confirm that you got it.
I sure will.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.